So now let's talk about the quick start script that MoonDream AI gives you and how you're going to interact with the API if you decide to interact with the API. So for the continuing classes in this series, we are going to focus on running MoonDream locally because I think that is the most interesting concept, not having to deal with their systems, having everything confined to your one computer, but you can use their API. And one of the most valuable things for you with using the API is frankly, it is a hell of a lot faster than running the system locally. Again, M2 Max MacBook Pro, 1.5 years old when I'm taping this particular class, and it is kind of slow when I'm running these scripts. When you connect it to the API, it's pretty lickety-split. It's pretty actually fast, so you might want to use the API from a speed standpoint. So in order to get your API account and API access key along with the quick start script, the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to MoonDream.ai. So you come to MoonDream.ai, you're going to see something like this, depending on when you're watching this particular class. You're going to scroll down and there's going to be a button here that says Get Started. Don't do the try it out. The try it out takes you to like a little demo area. I don't actually find to be very useful. So what you're going to want to do is go down here and basically click on the Get Started. Once you click on the Get Started, you're going to have a number of different options here. If we increase the size, what you're going to see over here is there is going to be a link that says Console, Get a API Key. So depending on when you come here, it's going to look something like this. This kind of thing does change. We're going to click on that, and then it's going to bring me into the console. So when you are initially setting everything up for MoonDream AI, this is going to send you to a create an account page. You're going to create your account. All you do is you give them your email address. There's nothing else. Email address, they send back a security key, you verify who you are, and that is going to give you your account here. Past that, all you're going to do is you're going to look up here, and as you can see, it says API key. It says API key, and basically you can click on that API key link. You can come here to generate a new API key, and this is going to give you your API key. Now the thing is, this is the only time you'll see your API key, so you can copy and paste it right now. As soon as you do something else, you go somewhere else though, you are going to lose access to that API key, so do make sure you copy and paste it. But again, the good thing here is you're not paying for these things, so it's no big deal. If you want to delete API keys, like I have these API keys here, I can simply delete them, and away they go. We can go over here to usage, we can click on usage, and we can say today I've used 3 out of 5,000 requests, so I've got 0.1% of my utilization. Again, 5,000 requests is going to be a lot, even in a production environment. Again, think about it. If you had 5,000 images to process, that's going to be the max for a lot of people out there, so they do give you a lot of utilization for free. So this is all you have to do in order to get your API access key. Now from here, there are a lot of links. The important link for what we're going to be dealing with now is the Quick Start Guide. So we can go here, we can click on the Quick Start Guide, and what this is going to do is this is actually going to give us a script, right? So basically up here, we say whether we're going to use the cloud API or whether we're going to use local deployment. If it's local deployment, you can click on things like CPU, what model size you want to use, what quantization you want to use, and then you can come down here and you can simply copy this full script and then you can use it. It's a lot simpler when you're using the cloud API because you're using their services. They will use the best model for you, and basically you can come down here and you can simply copy and paste this directly into VS Code. The thing with this particular quick start though is that it is going to give you a number of the different functions. So basically it's going to give you the generate a caption function here, and then it's going to stream the caption for you. If for some reason you want more of that real-time matrixy feel of using MoonDream, you can stream the result into your system. I don't I think it's a pain in the butt, but it exists, right? We can ask a question, so we can do a query based off of the image. This will give the query back, or we could stream the answer back. We can detect objects, so basically, are there objects in the image? And we can point at an object, so we can use the point function here. So these are the main functions. So I'm not going to go into the whole streaming thing with the rest of the series because, again, I don't care. But these are the main functions that you're going to use in the rest of the classes with MoonDream AI. I'm simply going to copy and paste them out essentially and then focus on them. But the cool thing here is that it gives you all of these functions in one place. You can run one image against all of these functions and see what the different responses are. So basically all you do then is you can click on the copy button. It says copied, and then like I say, you just simply send it over to VS Code, and you save it there, you add your API key, and away you go. So I've copied and pasted that entire script here into VS Code. What I've also then done is I've opened a workspace, and in the workspace, I have a folder of images so that I can then access those images. Again, remember when you're using Python, we have the whole current working directory thing. So if we're going to open up an image, we actually need to give a path to where that image is. And so basically, in the workspace, I am opening up the main project folder for these projects. In there is an image folder with a whole bunch of different images. We are simply going to pick the img.jpg, right? So I'm going to have this image here, and all this is a whole bunch of people basically on a beach, and so that is what we're going to be processing. So now let's take a moment to look at the script. So we're going to import MoonDream as MD. So we are going to need the MoonDream module installed onto our Python environment for this to work from pill import image. So we're also going to need the pillow module installed into our environment for this to work. We're then going to come down here, model equals md.vl, API key equals API key. So this is where we need to get the API key and put it in. So what I can do is I can simply go over here. Again, I can go to console, right? From console, I can go to the API key. I can generate a new API key. I can hit copy. I can then come back to my code, get rid of this initial API key, and basically just paste that API key in there. So if you're trying to run this script and it's not working for some reason and the API key doesn't look like this is going to be the thing you're going to need to troubleshoot. Go get that API key. We're then going to come down here to the image. So the image basically has to get loaded. This is going to be using that pillow module. So we can see ./image. So we're going into the image folder /imd.jpg. So basically, we're going to do the img.jpg, which is in the image folder, which is in our current working directory because we've opened it up in workspaces. From there, we're going to encode the image. So for MoonDream to be able to deal with the image, we encode it into something that it actually understands. And from there, we're going to go through and deal with the different functions. So we have the caption function that will automatically create a caption for us. We stream the caption function for whatever reason. We can ask a question. So what's in this image? We're going to get the response back. We can also stream that if you want to do that. We can detect objects and we can get the points of objects. And basically, again, these are different functions we'll talk about in different classes, but this is all of these functions in this one little piece of sample code. So from there, I can basically run this thing and we can see what it looks like. So it's going through. And see, this is what I'm talking about streaming. You see how it came in a little bit at a time? See, it's like ba 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 ba. That's what streaming is about. Gives them X, Y, minimums and maximums, and some different things. So we'll talk about this in different classes. But if we go up here, basically caption. So this was giving us a caption for the image. A image captures a lively beach scene at dusk. The sky is a soft blend of blue and gray with a few clouds, blase, blase, blase. And then down here is where it's streamed. So we get what we're talking about with streaming is as the tokens are created, created, they get sent to us. So normally when we're dealing with AI responses, I want the entire response created by the system and then just send me the entire response. It's a hell of a lot easier to deal with. But again, if you want to make it feel like it's more interactive to the end user, you can stream the response so little bits are added, as the AI creates it. Again, all it is an affectation of user interface design. I personally don't think is worth the time or energy. But anyways, again, we can come down here, we ask a question. In the background, there's a lifeguard tower, so this was asking a question here. This is where the answer was streamed. We then have objects, so basically detecting objects. We can get an X minimum, a Y minimum, an X maximum, and a Y maximum. So this is what you can use in order to create bounding boxes around images, basically, or objects in the image. So we're going to say, where are people in this particular image, and it's going to tell us, so this is the beginning of the X, this is the beginning of the Y, here's the max of the X, here's the max of the Y, ergo there's a little square, there's a bounding box, that's where the object is. And if you come down here to point, basically with point, all that's going to do is it's going to give you this specific point of where the objects are. So it gives you a specific point here. But anyways, this is all there is to using the API and basically how the API works with the code that we're going to go over. The main thing to be thinking about with this is many times this might be more useful for you in troubleshooting and playing around because you'll get the exact same responses. So the API, more or less, hopefully, will give you the exact same responses as the local installation will, but the performance from the API may be a hell of a lot faster. So you might actually want to do testing using the API because you can get those responses faster. You can do A/B testing, that kind of stuff. Verify the responses that you're getting and how to deal with those responses. And then from there, you might want to bring everything to be local once you've proved basically things work properly. But anyways, that's just one of the things to consider, but that's the API key and the little quick start code so you can just jump right into this.